Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hey everybody, welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. And you're still in January 2022, and I have a fabulous guest with me here today. This topic that she's talking on, she's absolutely brilliant at it. And she's a really good friend of mine. She's an Access Consciousness facilitator, and she's extremely successful in what she does. So welcome, Laura Marie.
Thank you, Simone. Super excited to be back on the podcast.
Yes, I know. It is exciting, isn't it? It is exciting. It's, I don't know, 2022 so far has this energy for me of just this, like a sense of relaxation, but also like, let's go. Like, let's, we're on the horse and it's like, let's ride. Like, what would we like to create? What would we like to, ask for, request this year? Mm-hmm. So I know this month is that what we've been doing on the podcast is about business. The whole, your life is your business is your life. So I wanted to interview you and get some really great, hopefully, pragmatic tools on creating an online business, because so let me revert back. Okay. So one of the things that you do, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that she does is creates online businesses, and she also educates people and empowers them and does courses on it. But what I want to do is go right back to what got you started with that. What was that initial moment that you went, yes, this is what I'm going to start doing?
Oh, gosh. Well, back in the day, actually, quite a while ago now, I taught myself how to do graphic design and web design. So that was like to put myself through college. So I think that was how I got started. I was an artist and I saw the, need for art online. And that was many years ago. And when I was in college, I needed the money. So I got a job doing graphic design, and I built my own website for my acupuncture practice. And I taught myself how to do SEO. Back in the day was like right when Google Ads had first started. So I actually built my acupuncture practice and my wellness center using Google search functions and keywords and analytics and all that. But it was like very basic, like right when they had started. So people could search for like acupuncturist in Denver, and I would come up like number 1 or 2 on the search. So that really helped build my, local practice at the time. So I think that's how I started.
So the key piece here though is, and I've known you for quite some time, is if you see something that shows up and you desire to know about it, you educate yourself on it.
Yeah.
Like, and not just like read an article or, do something, small. You actually invest money and time into educating yourself. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And I guess, like, if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, I'd like to do that. Because the thing I noticed, Lauren, is there's so many people who wake up in the morning and they go, oh, I wish I could do that. And then the ones who wake up and go, I'm doing it.
My favorite thing lately has been people telling me that I'm just a natural at something. And I'm like, you have no idea how much time and effort. And I probably just work harder at it than you. It's not that I'm more natural, but I get very obsessive about things. I guess it's a character trait.
That's when OCD has been good.
Yeah. And I just obsess about it until I can get to whatever awareness or information that I need, and so that's one of those things, like if I want to learn about it, and it's not everything that I'm interested in really, but typically if I'm capable of learning it and it's interesting for me, then I will really dive in and spend money, invest, like take courses. I've spent a lot of my own like money and energy just like getting really, comprehensive about different aspects of online business because there's so many and they're not all interesting to me, but certain ones are.
So what's the most interesting to you about online business?
For me at the moment, the most interesting thing is the possibilities that it creates for people who are feeling like they have less and less choice due to what's going on in the world, and maybe their local business or practice is being shut down, or they can't travel. A lot of facilitators used to create their business very globally, and that changed. So for me, it's like helping people find easy ways to still like not only just make money, but connect with people, engage with people. And obviously, it's not the same as being in person with someone, but sometimes we can't get there.
So what would you say are some of them? And it's not really a topic I like to go over, is like pros and cons. And what would you say is some of the pros for actually having an online business?
I think it's essential right now. Like if you don't have one, how do people even find you? Right? Like even if it's a brick or mortar. So I think it's just something that everyone needs to have, and it shouldn't be either or. It should be an and universe. Like, okay, you have online offers and you have in-person offers if you offer that, or maybe it's just online, but why not?
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then what would you say is where people could start? I mean, and I'm, if I say online, the first thing I think of too is a website and social media. And I know you're talking about actually doing classes, which I do a lot of classes. 99% of my classes are all online due to, as you say, the worldwide, pandemic at the moment and everything that is occurring. It's like, but I keep going, we keep moving forward. So when you say online, what is it that you're referring to?
Well, just a way for you to connect with people and make money without being there to physically touch them, I guess. So, people get hung up on the basics about it. And I think that you don't actually have to have a lot in place in order to create a business online or to add an online revenue stream to what you have going on. I mean, you've done this, Simone, we were already online, but you could have just started doing what you're doing basically with a Zoom account and your computer, right? Or your phone, right? It doesn't take much. People think they have to have the fancy branding, logo, website, figure all that stuff out. And really, for me, it's more about connecting to the people you want to be serving and finding out what it is that they want and that matches what you can provide, and creating offers around it that you can deliver online. And then you go backwards from there. Okay, in order to be at the point where I'm delivering this product, service, what do I need to have in place? Like, you have to have a way for people to pay you. You can't be driving around collecting checks, if anyone even writes checks anymore, right? You need to have a way for people to pay you online. So that's one thing that you must have, but you don't necessarily have to have a whole website or even a sales page. Sometimes it can just be a PayPal link or, something like that. So I'm all about like finding the simplest, easiest way to get the job done. And then you can always make it better.
Yeah. So just start basically.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I see so many people go, I've got to get like you said, I've got to get my graphics. I have to get the website. I mean, it used to be, I'd have to have a business card.
Yeah.
And business cards are just so like, I mean, I have some, I think, in my drawer in my office. I never carry them on me, but they're, now it's sort of like, what's your Instagram? What's your handle or something like that? So I get so many people have used reasons and justifications to not move forward with what they know is possible. And like I was saying before, the difference between people who wake up in the morning and wish for something, and then the people who actually wake up and demand of themselves and request of the universe that this is actually going to show up. And I nicknamed 2022 the year that dreams come true. So I would like to ask all of you who are listening, it's like, what is it that you would like to ask for? Like, what if you don't have to show anyone, you don't have to tell anyone, you can if you desire, but my suggestion is actually just to keep it for you. One of the tools of Access Consciousness, just for me, just for fun, don't tell anyone. And write down at least 5 things that you would like to request in 2022. And I like the way Lauren was talking about like the simplest way to go, because you can always make it better. But what if you just started? So what if you wrote down 5 things that you would like to choose to increase your business, and what could they be online? And I mean, to me, it's like Captain Obvious about having a payment, somewhere that you can take payments. And so that's number one. It's like, what are some of the other things that people need to have a look at to actually start creating their business online?
I'd actually start with what is already working for you, whether it's what you enjoy. So, if you really enjoy connecting with people and talking with people and engaging with people, social media that's what it's meant for, right? So, it's a way to do what you would normally do throughout your day, but on the online space. If you're not really a connector and you don't really love engaging with people, social media might be something that you have, but isn't your primary way that you're reaching new clients and things like that, because it's not really going to be that fun for you, probably, if you don't enjoy connecting with people, right? So,
Hang on, I just want to stop for 1 second, because I think that's a really key piece here that
mm,
you said, if it's not fun for you.
yeah.
Because I think so many people create this list of all the things that are not fun for them and go, oh, well, I don't want to do these, so then I just won't move forward. So when
Mm.
they come across that hurdle, what's your suggestion?
So, in order to sell something online, you need to have your offer, like your class, your product, your service, whatever it is that you're selling, and you need to have someone who's buying it, which we call the audience or your customer, right? Like that's it. So, if you I mean, it kind of depends what your business model is. Like if you're selling high ticket one-on-one coaching, you don't need that many clients to have a really successful business, and maybe you can do that word of mouth. That's how I built my acupuncture practice, was literally just going to networking events, talking to people, and then being good at what I did, and people telling their friends. So it's same, but different online. If you are looking at building like a one-on-one coaching type of practice, then figure out how many clients you really want to have and make it your target to reach that, and maybe actively sort of connect on a one-on-one basis, which is, you don't need to do that on social media. We still have phones. We don't use them as much as we used to, but we still have.
Calls. Phones actually still make calls. That's breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
They do other things than set timers and alerts and play, reels and things like that.
I love that.
So,
Yeah. Okay. And one of the businesses I keep thinking about is, and I can't quite remember if this business is in Australia, and it's definitely in the US, is Burt's Bees. Burt's Bees, yeah. Is that in Australia?
I've seen it here. Yeah.
Okay, so you can get it. Now, this lady created Burt's Bees, and it's a whole lot of, products. Like, I mean, I really like their lip gloss and, their moisturizer, etc. It's beautiful products. And she created that. She was in the US, and she kept getting retail shops wanting to buy her stock. And she said, no, 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 no. And she kept saying no. And she kept building and building and building and building her online business. She eventually sold that business. And I don't remember, sorry, but I don't remember the exact figure at the moment, but it was for millions. And she sold that business for millions. And then, this is years ago when I was living in California in Santa Barbara, and then they started stocking it on shelves, the company that she sold it to. But she was so determined to keep selling it the way she desired to sell it, and just do that online selling. And that would have been, I mean, that was a while ago. That would have been at a time when online business maybe wasn't, that prevalent in the world. And yet she was determined to keep doing what she did. And then, like I said, sold it for millions. So, and I don't think there's any business that limits you. I mean, even if you're doing a business like you're a massage therapist, it's like you still can get clientele from online sales.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what else would you recommend to people to just start?
I would say, because I work with a lot of people like that have a hands-on business. They're some type of therapist, or obviously with my background as an acupuncturist, I'm connected to that world. Have a think about what you can offer online. And so that kind of, with the world being the way that it is, and we never know, what's going to happen, having just different options for how to serve your clients like that can't get to you. It also opens you up to a global audience. So when you can only see one-on-one clients in your treatment room, you're limited to however many people you can fit in and not be exhausted at the end of the day, right? So, but I have several clients who are like creating memberships or online coaching programs around herbal therapy or just like diet and exercise, like different health things that they do already with their clients, but it's like a different format. So think about all the different types of offers that you could have and what's going to be easiest for you again to start with. And for someone who's already doing one-on-one like work of some sort in person, it's pretty easy to make that transition to a telehealth call type of thing or a Zoom call that is basically the same thing you would do in person but online. But then if you take it one step further, like I didn't have the capacity to do this when I was an acupuncturist. It didn't exist. But if I was going to do that again now, I worked with a lot of women on fertility, and I would have to go through the same explanation about like how your body works and the books to recommend and how to track your cycle and all this stuff every single time I had another client. And if I was to do that over again, I would make it a course. So it would be sort of before you come see me, here's this course or these, videos to watch. So then saves me time, saves them time. I don't get tired of saying the same thing over and over. And I can also sell it to people who don't come in to see me for treatment, right?
I love that idea. And there's also a mutual friend of ours is got she sells beauty products, and I don't know where she's at with it at the moment, but I know that she was starting to do, she's great at doing eyebrows, and she was going to do like an online course to do eyebrows. So literally, if you're watching this, you'll know what I'm talking about, because if you're on YouTube, and if you're just listening, don't forget you can catch us on YouTube. But she can literally just go into the camera and talk about doing people's eyebrows. And she's got this as a little mini course that she's doing, which I think is brilliant. I think she's also doing something with her beauty products on how to mix them at home. So
Yeah.
you do it from the comfort of your kitchen. You don't have to touch
Skincare
anything.
from the kitchen. I love it because then people can go in their kitchens, turn you on, and like mix up their own at home beauty stuff. It's great.
So, there's been so many things that have been started in the last few years as well. I think there's been a lot of people who've had a lot of initiative. I know for myself, when I had hotel quarantine or even traveling, always looking for some sort of movement with my body that I can do in a hotel room.
Yes.
And I have a notes like in my, on my computer and my phone, like it literally says hotel room workouts. So I've never told anyone that, but I have that because it's there's stuff that I can do that I don't need much space, or it's a quick, 5-minute, workout with your arms or something like that, or it's, a Pilates that's just all you need is literally your body and the floor. A mat is great, but that's what you need. So you don't need a whole bunch of things to actually start moving your body. Or online Zumba. I did some online Zumba when I was in hotel quarantine. Had a great time. Can I tell you? It was awesome. So I also want to say, if you have a business and you go, oh yeah, but everyone's doing it, what's your, to me, that's just another reason and justification for you not choosing to actually create yourself to be as successful as you could be. Because just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
I would actually say it's a really good sign that is something that people are going to be willing to pay for if so many people are selling that. So same thing with books that are written or other products like that are very similar to what you want to create. Don't use it as a reason not to create it. Use it as a reason actually to go check. People want this thing. People are buying this thing and or service, whatever, and I should move forward because it's not, you could come up with the most unique, bizarrest, thing on the planet. It's going to be a little harder because no one's ever heard of that. You're going to have to do a lot of education. Simone, you and I both did the keto diet for a while, right? When I first found out about the keto diet, nobody knew about keto diet, right? So it was a hard sell for whoever was trying to, sell keto products.
Keto's everywhere. Yeah.
Keto's everywhere now. So it's like the market catches up. But if you're the first to market, it's like a little bit harder. But the thing is, there's only one you. So you're never going to do it the same as someone else, even if it's a physical product or it's like you're going to have your own unique way of doing it because of the way that you be. So I would not would not steer away from something. There's like nothing new under the sun. You know, someone will probably have created something like what you want to create. That's okay.
But the way you do it is different. I love that you say that. I mean, our Pilates instructor, we both go to the same Pilates instructor, and I've always been at her to create an app or do something like that. Because when I travel, because she is phenomenal.
Yes.
She is hands down the best Pilates instructor I've ever come across in my whole entire life.
She's
her name is Amanda, and it's called Connected, and it's in Bridgian Beach. But she's fabulous. And I know that she started doing some online courses for, I think, instructors. And she started by doing your course. And she was like, oh my God, talk about 1 foot forward, 1 step back, 1 foot forward, 1 step back, you know, the in the door, out the door, in the door, out the door. And it was like, Amanda, you are so brilliant at what she does. And she always says to me, oh, but there's other people who have apps out there. And I'm like, but the way you explain stuff is phenomenal. Yeah. And what she actually started doing, and we'll put if you want, you can actually download the show notes here. We'll put her handle in the show notes so you can follow her on Instagram, because it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And what she gave herself this personal challenge, and she gave herself this personal challenge of, I don't think she was telling anyone this, but anyway, now we're on a podcast telling everyone. So of doing a video a day for 30 days, because she didn't really want to do these videos on social media. Now, I mean, I think that 30 days is long past, and now she's doing videos all the time, because she's such a true healer with bodies. And she'll notice how someone comes in, whether they're the way they move their shoulders or their wrists or their arms or the way they breathe or don't breathe, as the case may be. And she'll do this little mini video on it. And each video I notice on her Instagram, it's not to sell anything, it's to inform and educate. It's to inform and educate. And then if people come along to her studio or come along to one of her courses, then that's a whole other gig. But what I notice is she builds up this education system and this information for anyone out there in the world. And she truly, like, she's such a beautiful being. She truly desires for people to have more freedom with their bodies. Like, that's hands down, that's her main aim, you know. And what I want to ask you too is, how important is that, to have that level of education that you're sort of like, you know, gifting out there to the world? Or is it irrelevant? You either gift it or you're either got something, you know, like a little $20 course or something like that. Like,
so what she did that was brilliant was, I would call it like visibility content. So it is something that would be of value for her audience. Yeah. For her audience, that happens to be things to do with the body, but also she goes for walks and she's hilarious. Like, she'll see a cloud formation that looks like the spine, you know, or she'll show her dog and talk about like, yeah, she'd be like, look, spinal clouds. Yeah. And so, but it all ties back to what's of value for her audience. But for your audience, it might be making them laugh, or it might be like, maybe you're an artist, and so it's just showing beautiful paint. Like, it's not always top 10 tips. Like, it has to do with your audience. Simone, your audience loves to see a peek into your life. So they love to see your plants and your kitchen and, you know, your workout equipment and your driving in the car and stuff. Anything I said, you know, I told you.
I'm always astounded by, though, because it's like, Lauren works on, we call it a conglomeration of idiots, not a team. Okay. Because we're a whole bunch of, you know, we're literally a conglomeration of idiots heading in the same direction. And so there's some people on there who do, you know, more of the geeky stuff, the podcast stuff, to do with classes, you know, social media, etc. Like, there's a whole bunch of amazing, phenomenal people who work here. And if you actually sign up for the podcast to subscribe, you'll get this email from us. And down the bottom, there's this amazing, beautiful photo of all of us. And when I saw that photo, I was like, damn, it's like, talk about some beautiful, powerful, potent people. It's like brilliant. I'm so incredibly grateful. But it always spins me out when they're like, you know, they're like, what are you doing? Like, take some photos. And I'm like, I'm making a smoothie. And they're like, take a photo of the smoothie. And I'm like, who the fuck wants to see me making a smoothie? And they're like, people do.
They want to see the smoothie. And especially now that you said that, you're going to have to do another smoothie.
Show my smoothie. Yeah.
But yeah, it is very important. Whatever that is for your audience, it's going to be different. And you're going to know that based on what you're posting and the things that get more reactions and
Yeah.
comments and shares. And so that's like, you're on the right track with that. I mean, I make hilarious. I think they're
I was
hilarious.
just about to comment about it. No, they are hilarious. But if they make you laugh, that's like, that's the beginning anyway, but they're very funny. So I was just about to say that you'll have Lauren's Instagram handle here, and I'm sure, is it on your IGTV or so, the little grid thing so people can watch your videos?
Yeah, yeah.
Go check them out because they are hilarious. But tell me, because I was going to ask you, it's like, how do you market to people? Like, what's yours is humor. I mean, you do humor when you market.
Well, and I think my daughter got this from me. I have a very expressive face. So like, and I've seen that when I started doing reels, like I can make like really, really interesting faces. So I like to convey. So the way I think about it is like, okay, my, students that I'm working with, what's the challenge that they're currently having, or something that is like, I don't know, something that they're really like frustrated with, or, they could relate to if I made a video about, and then I'll kind of like back it up from there and make fun of them, but in a way that they're laughing at themselves. Like, oh yeah, I've been there,
Yeah.
one of my videos, I'm like dragging my daughter out to sell her on the curb because I need to like pay for, fancy course creation equipment. Because it's like one of those things people think like, I need a fancy camera, I need fancy lights. So I'm like, I'm going to sell my firstborn kid. Obviously that was a joke, but
you have to say kidding, ladies and gentlemen.
Kidding. But she loved it. She was like, thought it was hilarious herself. She watched it like 1,000 times. But
cute.
But so I think find not everyone is has a sense of humor or finds it easy to make videos like that, but you don't have to. Our friend Amanda films her Pilates students or even her dog, like doing different things close up, whatever. So it's sort of like a peek into your world. Everyone like to see behind the curtain thing that's going to give them some glimpse into the real life. That's why those reality shows are so popular, right? So those are really good. Of course, short form video reels are reels on Instagram and TikTok are getting a lot of traction now, but you don't have to be a dancer or an actor or anything like that. Try it out, because you never know, you might surprise yourself and it might be fun for you, and you never know until you try.
Yeah.
But you could also just go in nature and film birds and trees and talk about, I don't know.
I just did that the other day. I was like, I was filming I went hiking in Kundalula Falls, and I was like, I want to see if I can film this and record the sounds, because the sounds were amazing. Some of the birds I was hearing, I was like, I never heard these before. So I don't know how it turned out, but I'm going to send it to social media peeps and see how it turned out. So I want to actually mention something here, because you're saying basically just give it a go.
Yeah.
And see how it shows up. And I want to add here, do what you know. And look at what you like what works, and also I remember when Instagram first came out and it was all about the layered shots. You're having a cup of coffee and it was like, I mean, everyone was taking photos of food and coffees and things like that, but it was like from above and the lighting was great and da da da. And I remember my PR agent was always saying, you need to get these shots like this and you need to do this, and it was annoying, and I went, no, I'm not doing that. And I was like, look, if you want me to keep doing that, it's not going to happen, because it's so not fun for me. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else that I work with pointed something out, and they said, Simone, at this stage, they said, your life is such an adventure. 1 week you're at home in Phrygian Beach, the next week you're on a gondola in Venice, and then you're in London, and then you're in Costa Rica on a horse. So you don't need to worry about these beautiful laid shots, because your life is such an adventure anyway. And it so matched the energy of what I knew. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep just choosing that. I'm going to choose what I know, because to me, it so isn't about, it always cracks me up about the, say on Instagram, when you have, however many followers, and then you are an influencer, etc. To me, it's always been, how do I show the planet? How do I show the planet and the brilliance and the joy and the fun that you can be and have with the planet? That's been my desire from, ever. So if I can be that on my Instagram, then I will. It's not about showing something based on proving anything. That's me. So I want to say to all of you guys who are listening or watching, as the case may be, it's like, what's you? Like, I love that Lauren was pointing that out. And if you check out her Instagram videos, they are hilarious. I think they're hilarious too. So, and she does a really good job of them. And I know, and I happen to know that she writes like a script. Whether she sticks to the script or not, but she writes the script and then she cuts it and does all of that. So she's educated herself on how to do that. And it's fun for her. It's fun for her. It's fun for her. It's fun for her. What is fun for you? Like, what do you like? What brings you joy? Because if you truly follow what brings you joy, that's when the clients show up. That's when the money shows up. That's when more possibilities show up than you can ever truly imagine. So my sense with all of this and everything that I'm hearing too is it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to make this hard. And if you just start choosing something that's actually fun for you, or if you have someone around you that you work with or someone you know, etc., be like, hey, it looks like fun for you. Can you help me? And then most people go to, I don't have the money to pay them. And it's like, okay, if you don't have the money to pay them, what else could you gift them? It's like, do you like cooking? Cook them a couple of meals a week. I don't know. It's like, if you do bars, like Access Consciousness bars, run their bars. It's like, whatever. Don't allow anything to stop you. Keep moving forward and choose what brings you joy. That's what I want to add here. So, so Lauren, what else would you say that we need to mention here that we haven't spoken about with the online stuff?
Well, when you're first getting started online, you probably don't have massive amounts of followers, and you aren't considered an influencer by any standard other than maybe, people who actually know you and want to listen to you, and they would consider you an influencer. And that's okay. And you probably don't have a big email list. But what you can start doing is creating content, no matter how many people are following you. And it's sort of that field of dreams thing, like build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Because if you create the content, like Simone's talking about, that comes from a space that you're just being you, you'll attract people that want more of that. And it will start to take off. And it's not a magic pill. It's not a overnight, it's like the chances of winning the lottery are probably higher than you getting a viral video or anything like that. Those things are kind of, they happened when YouTube first started, like it was a thing. Now it's sort of like, it's more the long game. It's more the, not necessarily just quantity, but consistency, like showing up, committing to yourself that you're going to do it and give it a good shot, not just like, I made one video and it didn't make me $1 million, so I'm, going to throw in the towel and try something else. Like, you're going to have to do more than that to create a business online. But if you stick with it and you find a way for it to be fun for you, I won't say it is always going to be fun, every single part of it, but you could find ways to create content and get it out there that are fun for you, that isn't just extra work. Our friend Amanda, the Pilates instructor, she was, she started with a 30-day challenge, and then it became part of just how she lives her life and runs her business. And she just has the camera there, and it's become so natural for her. And the next step was the email list. So I, talked to her about that, because she's like, I don't ever email my list. I'm like, just take what you are already doing and change it into an email and send it out to your list once a week. Like, sometimes just creating a simple process around what you're already doing and documenting. Like, if you're not a creator who, goes in the shower and comes out with a bunch of ideas, like, just document what you are doing. And that's your content. So you don't have to do anything different other than sometimes pulling out the camera and talking about what you're doing, because you're probably doing things, just they're like secondhand to you, but they would be really interesting if you explain what you were doing to someone else who isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I love that. And I just looked up on my Instagram, there's this guy that I just started following, and he's called Knees Over Toes Guy, because my personal trainer gave it to me, because I have a little bit of a problem with my knees sometimes, like the way, anyway, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know that whole thing. But he said, check this guy out. And everything on his grid, you can see he's giving another tool, another exercise on how to move your body, like, and have your knees over your toes. And then apparently he's got a course on there too, which I'm going to check that out. He's got like a basic course and then it goes up, etc. And he's got like 930,000 followers, and he's called Knees Over Toes Guy. It's like, I think that's brilliant. It's like, that's what he does, you know.
That's his thing.
Yeah, that's his thing. I mean, there's a guy who don't have a lot of problems going with my body, but my knees, okay, and then my shoulder. There's a doctor in America, and he was actually a shoulder surgeon. Say that fast, a shoulder surgeon. And he realized, because he started educating himself and having a look at all the shoulders he was dealing with, and he realized that it wasn't about operating. It was, if you actually moved your shoulder in a certain way. He talks about hanging a lot. It will, you know, change the way your shoulder is and the way it structures. So he actually stopped being a surgeon and wrote a book on it. And I know, I can't remember his Instagram off by heart, but it is something about shoulders and gives you that education. So even if you're listening to this and you want to find out more, like if you're a Pilates instructor, go research all the Pilates instructors. And to me, at the moment, you have the world at your feet. Like, one of the things I've noticed is we've become pretty huge in the Middle East in the last couple of years, due to so many of our classes being online. Like, we had online classes, but we have even more online classes now. And we may not have reached those areas if we were not doing that. Like, if we were traveling to different countries and different cities. So it's like, what else is possible when you move online? And what if there's never an excuse? Like, even if I think of an example, one of our mutual friends, she's a hairdresser, is one of her jobs, one of the jobs that she makes money from. And she lives in California, and during the lockdowns and the, you know, etc., hairdressers were not allowed to open. But what she did was, she also works for Paul Mitchell, which is using a lot of the, you know, the shampoos and colors and stuff like that. She would make these little adverts, and she's like sort of this, you know, vibrant woman as well. And she'd make these little adverts and literally be washing her hair and then putting a product in her hair and then make these reels out of them. And they were sort of like kooky and fun. And she's in her apartment in California, in LA. And then she got the products out there. And it's like, so I want to ask you, who is either listening or watching, what reason, justification do you currently have for not choosing everything that you could choose that would allow all of your dreams and more to come true in 2022? And everything that is, everything you've decided is more real than the choice you can choose to create something greater. Will you please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. You can find out more at theclearingstatement.com. And if you've been listening to my podcast, you'll know about it. But basically, it's like, we want to go in there and just press the delete button. Just go, stop, enough. Like, this is your life. Let's go. What business would you like to be creating that you haven't been creating? I mean, even if you bake friggin' cookies, maybe you can film yourself baking cookies and have your recipes on a YouTube channel, and then you can sell them online, like whatever. It's like, don't allow yourself to be limited. Like find something that ignites you, whether it's someone also to extrapolate with, like, you know, Lauren, not very long ago, we were coming back from somewhere and I actually made a wrong turn to her house. But I was joking because I went, yeah, on accident, did it deliberately. I'm like, not letting you out of the house, not letting you out of the car until you give me a few more ideas, because Lauren's a great person for me to extrapolate with. So, and by extrapolation, I mean, you're literally just shooting the breeze and going, what about this? 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 And then your idea, somebody else goes, oh, okay, but you could do this and add something else to it. Like, it's literally limitless, the possibilities that are available in the world. The only thing that's limiting you is, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You. So what if it was time to stop limiting you and actually start creating something entirely different? So Lauren Marie, is there anything else you'd like to add before you tell everyone where people can find you and what you've got coming up?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
We have to stop talking about all of the fun stuff. Very sad. Yeah, no, I could do this all day long. Just Cut
So
me
where
off.
can people find out more? Cut me off. Where can people find out more stuff about this? Like, because I know you've got a lot of online stuff as well that people can join or.
I would love to send your podcast listeners to my podcast, because why not? We're already on the podcast.
Exactly.
And,
let's do it. What's it called? Where do they find it?
it is now called Marketing Chaos. So I love it too. It's a new name, but I've done like 84 episodes. So there's a lot you can binge, spend your weekend and binge on Marketing Chaos. So it's marketingchaos.show.
Marketingchaos.show. I love it. Yes, you can binge your weekend with Lauren, or Loza is her Australian nickname.
Yes, Loza.
When she moved to Australia. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being here. Anything else you want to add?
Just go get it. Just start, as we say. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for listening, everyone.
You're so welcome for being on here, and I'll see you soon. And thanks everyone for being on here. You can also go and check out, we just started an Instagram channel for the podcast. Choice, Change and Action podcast is the handle for Instagram. So check that out. And if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to know, subscribe. You can send in any topics that you want to hear about. We may or may not choose them. We do listen though. We do listen, and maybe they come at the end of the year or something like that. So, but yeah, stay in touch, as they say. Thank you, Lauren, and I'll see you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at Simone Milasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes, and lastly, have way too much fun today.